Is now the right time for you to start a membership website? You might have been thinking about starting a membership for a while, perhaps others have suggested it to you, but you're not quite sure about the timing. Is this something you should be working on right now? Are other things more important? Should you be focusing on getting certain different building blocks in place before exploring the idea of starting a membership? We're going to be answering those questions and more in today's episode of the Membership Guys podcast. Here we go.
You're listening to the Membership Guys podcast, bringing you proven, practical tips and advice from the leading experts on growing a successful membership business each and every week. And now, here's your host, Mike Morrison.
Well, hello there. Welcome to the latest episode of the Membership Guys podcast. This is episode number 306. It just baffles me now that we're into the 300s as I'm recording these new episodes that we've been around for this long. But hey, we have. You guys are evidently still enjoying what we're putting out, so we're going to keep on delivering the goods for you. If you are new to the show, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We're glad that you found us. Make sure you mash that subscribe button on your podcast app to ensure you get each and every weekly episode delivered directly to your device every Tuesday for your regular dose of proven practical advice on growing your membership business. We're the best in the game at what we do. Got to be said. And those of you who've been listening to us for a while, you already know that. Thanks so much for hanging out with us this week. Today, we're talking about timing. When is the right time to start a membership website? The thing with memberships is, as a business model, they're a little more complex. There's a lot more moving parts, a lot more considerations and things to keep spinning in the membership machine than most people realize. And so timing is important. It's not something you should do on a whim, mainly because if you start a membership site and then a few months in you realize, you know what, maybe I should have waited because this isn't for me, or because I didn't have the right grounding to start, or something like that. It's a lot harder to roll back your plans with a membership once it's up and running and you've got members paying you. Compared to, if you decide you want to run workshops or sell courses, you can launch those things and then change your mind later on and try something different. And it's not really going to have too much of a damaging effect. It's not going to be too difficult to get out of going down that path. With a membership, if you launch and you've got people subscribed and they're happy with what they've got and they're paying you month after month, then that's a little stickier for you to turn around and kind of say, okay, I've changed my mind. We're not doing this now. It's tougher to get out of. And so the timing of when to start a membership is important, not just for kind of safeguarding you against maybe changing your mind later, but also just to make sure that you're getting off to the best possible start. So today I'm going to talk about some of the things that are good indicators that now might be a good time to explore the idea of starting a membership. So the first thing I'm going to look at in terms of answering that question, when is the right time to start your membership? The first is when you're clear on your niche and who you serve. The most successful memberships are the ones that solve a specific problem and serve a specific audience. Having a clear niche or niche, depending on where you're listening from, makes your membership offering more targeted, which increases the likelihood of someone identifying with the problem your membership solves and therefore joining. If you want to stand out from the crowd in your market, you can't just blend in. You need to have a speciality. As the saying goes, the riches are in the niches. This is why I get why you US listeners prefer the pronunciation niche, because it rhymes with more things. The riches are in the niches. When it comes to memberships, those that are broader, that have more all-encompassing, less specialized coverage in terms of their topic, can be a little more of a struggle. There's more things you're competing with. It's harder to really define what it is your membership does, what specific problem it addresses, why it's essential rather than a nice to have. So ask yourself, what is it that you're known for? Are you known for something specific, or are you known as a bit of an all-rounder, someone who can do a bit of everything, or someone who's just good in a general area? If that's you, then you might need to sharpen up and drill down a bit more on your niche positioning. Get clear on that niche, get clear on that audience. What segment of that audience, what specific aspect of your topic is your focal point? Get clear on what you do and who you do it for. Now, whether or not you are already clear, whether you've already niched down and you become known for something specific, can determine whether now is the right time to start a membership, or whether you need to spend just a little bit of time getting that clarity on what your niche is. If you need help with that, check out episode 244. You can head to themembershipguys.com/244. In that episode, I talk a bit more about why membership owners really need to niche down, why you should stay niched, and more helpfully for you if you're still trying to figure this out, some pointers, some practical advice that you can use to really get that clarity on what you do, who you do it for, and how you can be a little more specialist and use that to your advantage in starting, running, growing a successful membership. So a good time to start your membership is when you're clear on your niche and you're clear on who you serve. Another good time to start your membership, or another factor, is when you're turning away clients. So if you're currently essentially trading time for money, you're doing billable work as a coach, a consultant, or service provider. If you've hit your limit of your capacity to take on new clients, so you literally cannot fit any more clients in, then you're hitting that ceiling. You've hit a ceiling of how much you can earn and how much your business can grow. And while you can always put your price up to make a little more money from the clients that you have, maybe you even decide to work even more hours, which coming from being that person, being in the web design, the consultancy space, usually you're not slacking. If you've hit that limit on how many clients you've taken on, you're probably not slacking. You're probably already working all the hours that you can muster. However, maybe there's a little scope to add a few more hours into how often you work. But even when you do that, even if you work a bit more, you put those prices up, you're still going to hit that ceiling. All you're doing is kicking the can down the road in terms of when you're going to hit that brick wall, at which point you simply can't grow your business any further because you can't do any more work. You can't put your price up anymore. That's always the trap when it comes to trading time for money. But the great thing about memberships is that they're one-to-many. They're not one-to-one. There's far greater leverage within the membership model. You can serve far more people than when you are trading time for money one-on-one. So if you've hit that ceiling and you've found yourself turning away clients, then now is the time that you should be looking at ways to better leverage your time, skills, experience, and expertise on a one-to-many basis by starting a membership site. So that's definitely a good sign that now might be the time to start looking into that membership idea that's been rattling around in your brain. When you've hit that point where you can't take on any more clients, there's literally no more hours in the day, that's when you start looking at things like membership. So second good indicator that now's the right time to start a membership. Third is when you have people directly asking you for a membership. There's no clearer sign that the time might be right for you to start one than if people have actually already started asking you, do you have a membership? Are you thinking of starting a membership? Now, you don't want to get carried away with this. You don't want to base too much on people asking you this question, asking you for a membership, because the 2 or 3 people who are saying, hey, I wish you'd start a membership, or do you have a membership? I'd love to join. It might turn out that they're the only 2 or 3 people in the world who are ever going to be interested in a membership. It would be extremely unfortunate and unlucky if that was the case. But the point is, you shouldn't get too carried away by there being a bit of positive noise around the idea of you starting a membership. But it's certainly a good sign It's more of a good sign than a bad sign. It's definitely a positive thing if you've got people saying how they'd love to see you start a membership, or they're asking if you have one already, or they're suggesting you should start one because of all these great things that you have. So that should certainly be a bit of a nudge for you to explore the idea further. The fourth piece of the puzzle in terms of getting that timing perfect for starting a membership is when you built an initial following. Now, you don't need to have a huge audience to be successful with memberships, but it'll definitely be easier for you to start a membership if you have at least some sort of initial following. Ideally, some people on an email list, but at the very least, a following on social media channels, traffic coming to your website, and so on. Now, it's not about size. It's not about having tens or hundreds of thousands of people on an email list before you can even contemplate starting a membership. It's far more important that your following is relevant than it is that your following is huge. So ideally, people who are following you on social or they're subscribed to your email list, they're doing so on the basis of your expertise in the area that you'd be looking to start a membership in. Having that following, however small, just having that starting point will be pivotal both in helping you to research and flesh out your membership idea, but also it's going to be very useful in giving you that head start in your marketing too, to ensure that you're going to get an initial influx of members when you launch. Again, we're not talking hundreds of thousands, we're talking hundreds. If you've got 50, 100, 200 people or so on an email list, then that gives you a big leg up. If you don't have any sort of following or any sort of online presence and you're literally at square one, then it might be worth putting in the time and effort to kickstart your audience building now and then explore the possibility of starting a membership a little further on down the line. So, good time to start a membership or think about exploring your membership ideas when you built an initial following. You've got those initial sprouts of an online presence, an email list, and so on. So, again, that's factor number 4 in terms of timing being right. The fifth is if you're at that point when you can spare at least 1 day per week on your membership. Now, often people get so enamored with this idea of making passive income from memberships. Memberships are so often associated with this mythical, magical passive income fairy. Some people get so distracted, so enamored, so seduced by that they don't realize this is a business model, right? And like any type of business, you need to put in time, you need to put in effort to make them work. Memberships are not passive income. They're certainly more passive than trading time for money in most cases. They're definitely more leveraged in terms of what you get out of what you put in. And when you're trading time for money, generally you're getting paid per hour, and therefore what you get out is directly correlative. It's directly related to what you put in. With memberships, that's not the case. You can get so much more out of every hour you spend on your membership in terms of growth potential, in terms of adding to the value of your overall product, in terms of how many people you can reach, how many people you can serve, and so on. So the fact memberships are one to many definitely makes it far more passive, certainly more passive than trading time for money as a coach, consultant, designer, what have you, because you're not getting paid based on the hours you work, but definitely not passive. You don't just quickly throw up any old rubbish, call it a membership, and then sit back and wait for the money to start rolling in. You need to invest time. You need to invest effort. So I'd say initially, ideally, you want to be able to commit 1 day per week to working exclusively on your membership. And I mean a working day. So 8 to 10 hours, at least 8 to 10 hours per week. So that might mean blocking out every Friday to work exclusively on your membership. So you don't do any client work that day, you don't schedule any calls, any meetings. It's all about your membership every Friday, 1 day a week. Or perhaps you get those 8 to 10 hours by working 2 hours every evening during the week. So you're putting in a little overtime, a little extra time once you're done with your regular day-to-day running of your normal business or your day job, and you put in a couple of hours in the evening to make this happen. You need to have that consistent effort, and you need to have that decent chunk of time to really turn your idea into a reality. Because if you're just trying to squeeze in an hour here and an hour there, you're not really going to be able to make much progress. You're not going to move very quickly. You're not going to build any momentum or do things to the standard that you need to do. Treat your membership project the same way you would treat a client. If you are a coach, a consultant, a designer, or someone who works on a client basis, block time out to work on it. Treat it seriously. Prioritize it. Don't just have this as something that's on the back burner that you work on when you get a spare few minutes. Something on a to-do list that gets sacrificed when other more important things come up. Treat it the same way you would treat a client. Prioritize it. It doesn't need to take an age to get your membership up and running, but you want to make sure you're taking things seriously enough to allocate enough bandwidth to turning your idea into a reality. And if you're not able to do that yet because you're far too busy, you simply do not have the time, then the timing might not be ideal for you to start exploring going into the membership world. And then the final thing to factor in to figuring out whether now is the right time, whether the timing's right for you to start a membership, is whether or not you're in a place where you have at least $500 to $1,000 to invest in getting things moving. Now, it's perfectly possible to start a membership for less than $100. But you'll find that if you want to do things properly, the costs for getting up and running can stack up. At the very minimum, you're going to need a domain name, so a web address, and website hosting. It's $10 or so for the domain. You can get half-decent hosting for under $10 a month, although web hosting isn't something where you want to go with the cheapest option. And while you can use WordPress as your CMS, as your engine of the site, and WordPress is free, you'll need a membership plugin, which is potentially a couple of $100. You'll need a website theme, so something to make the site look pretty. That's maybe another $50, $100, depending on what you go with. And that's assuming you don't want to have it custom designed. You'll need an email marketing service so you can communicate with your members, so you can build an email list of people that could potentially become members. And that's going to cost you anywhere from $10 a month to maybe $30 or $40 if you're just starting out, more for larger email lists. You'll need video hosting if you've got courses. You'll need design tools if you want to create workbooks and stuff like that. Your business is probably going to need some sort of logo. If you're going to be on camera, if you're going to do any live stream, you need a webcam. You might need a microphone. It all adds up. And while you don't need all the bells and whistles right away, and you can certainly start with a lot less, even being as frugal as possible, you're likely still going to end up having to invest a few $100 easily. So ideally, you should have some budget in place to cover those startup costs. Ideally, $500 to $1,000, if possible at least, which should be enough for you to make some solid choices for the tools and the tech that you're going to use to build your membership and to cover the first few months of operating costs while everything falls into place and this thing starts paying for itself. Again, you can make it work with less. And if you're a member of membershipacademy.com, we've got a bunch of discounts and deals on some of the tech that you'd be needing. So you're going to save some money there. Plus, we've got things like the member-only theme, which is included in your membership. We've got email swipes, which again saves you time, saves you hiring someone to write. So you can always save money and make better decisions and utilize things like the resources in places like Membership Academy to fast track stuff without added expense. But again, ideally, you're going to want to have that budget $500 to around $1,000 so you're not compromising yourself and you're not kneecapping your business from the start by having to build on shaky ground purely for the sake of saving money. So again, in an ideal world, for the timing to be right, you should be in a place where you have that budget to invest in your startup costs. So, is the time right for you to start a membership website? Well, the time is likely right for you to start when you're clear on your niche and who you serve, when you're already turning away clients because you're at the limit of your capacity to work with people one-on-one, when you have people already asking you if you have a membership, suggesting that you start one, When you built an initial following, you've got some people on an email list. Doesn't need to be thousands, but you've got the beginnings of your audience growth. When you can spare at least 1 day per week to work exclusively on making your membership happen so that you can actually get progress, you can actually build momentum, you can actually start building this thing. And when you have a budget to cover your starting costs, $500 to ideally around $1,000 should put you in good stead to get all the stuff you need, all the moving parts that you need at a solid standard to give you that strong foundation to build your membership business on. So, has that helped you? Has that answered the question? If you've been considering starting a membership site and you're just not sure on whether you're at the right place in your journey, whether the timing is right, hopefully this has given you that clarity and it's given you a better idea of how to assess how well equipped you are to really make a good go at making your membership idea a reality, and a reality that is successful. Now, if you are ready to go, then of course, the first step you need to take, you need to head over to membershipacademy.com and come and join the Academy community. Seriously, it is a no-brainer for anyone who is running a membership site. I know I'm biased, but come on. Not only have we got a step-by-step comprehensive roadmap that literally takes you from having that tiny little nugget, that tiny little acorn of an idea, all the way through to fleshing it out, to building that audience, to creating your site, getting the launch plan, the strategy, the onboarding, all that in place, and then having a successful launch. But we then take you beyond that. Most people leave you once you've started the membership site, but the truth is, that's when the real work starts, and that's where the Academy's got your back too, with training, with accountability calls, with our community, with our mastermind calls, with everything that you could possibly need to build, launch, and grow a successful membership. So head over to membershipacademy.com. I would love to see you in there. And if you go over there and you came from this podcast episode, let me know. I'm in the community each and every day. So is Callie, the other half of the membership guys. Our team's in there. Other membership owners, thousands of other membership owners are in the community. I'd love to know if you come on the back of this episode, and I can't wait to help you to turn your membership idea into a reality and to help ensure its success for months and years to come. Oh boy. All right. That is it from me for this week. I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode if you have been teetering on the brink of starting a membership site. And the thing is, even if all this episode has done is convince you that maybe you need to wait 6 months, I couldn't be happier if that's the outcome. There's a lot of people in this industry, and you probably know who they are, who put a lot of effort into trying to convince you that you need to start a membership and you need to start one right now. But the truth is, the timing just might not be right for you right now. And so if you rush into it, then you might actually stumble and fall and never get off the ground. But actually, if you've done this little bit of a sanity check, you made sure that you've got the right things in place, the timing is right, you're well equipped, then you're going to be better positioned to make a good go of it. And if that means that you don't come and join the Academy until next year, I'd much rather that happen than try to convince you that you need to start right now, go to the Academy and give me your money, and I don't care if you're going to be successful. So if all I've done is talk to you out of starting a membership right now, I've done my job. But hopefully you're going to be able to use the resources at themembershipguys.com, all the free stuff we put out there in our Facebook group to help you get into the position where the timing is right to start your membership. Okay, that is it from me. Thank you so much for joining me this week. If you've enjoyed today's episode, I would be eternally grateful if you could leave a little bit of feedback in your podcast app in the form of a nice, shiny 5-star review. If it's going to be less than 5 stars, then is it rude for me to say don't bother? No, I mean, leave a nice, honest review. Just letting us know if you enjoy the show, what you enjoy most about it, if we've helped you in any way. not only do we love to hear your feedback, because, we're in an online business. We don't get to see people in person that we work with. We don't get to meet a lot of you people who are listening to the show, although it's an absolute joy when we do at conferences and events. And so we don't always know that we're doing our jobs the best that we could be doing them. So it's always great to read your feedback and reviews on how the show has helped you. So not only is it nice to have that little ego boost and have that little validation that we're doing what we're intending to do, but also the more reviews the show gets, the more people it reaches, the more people we can help, and the more impact we can have on the world, and the more memberships we can help to succeed, which is what we're all about. All right, begging over, that is it. I'm out of here. I'll be back again next week with another installment of the Membership Guys podcast. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out membershipacademy.com. The Membership Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. Whether you're still trying to figure out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website's already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Membership Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, step-by-step membership roadmap, exclusive member-only discount perks and tools, as well as our supportive, active community that will help you along the way with feedback, encouragement, and advice, the Membership Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage, and grow a successful membership business. Check it out at membershipacademy.com.